Welcome and thank you for checking out our series, How to Stand Out in a Difficult Job Market. Today's webinar is Leveraging Social Media, where we will discuss generally accepted guidelines for building and maintaining social media accounts and the importance of tailoring them to the industry and positions you are applying for. We will discuss the different social media platforms, explain how each of them are used for the job search, and go over privacy settings and what could be considered as questionable content. We'll be looking at LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram during this webinar, but spending the majority of the time diving into LinkedIn as it is the go-to network for both job seekers and hiring managers. To date, it has more than 600 million users. 2 people create an account every second, and 83% of the hiring managers use it to identify potential employees. In addition to the platform shown here, remember to sign up for your free Kentucky Career Edge account at careeredgeky.com. Career Edge is Kentucky's platform for enhancing life skills and professional development. Check out the ePortfolio tool within Career Edge platform to bring your resume, cover letter, and social media profiles together to start marketing yourself to employers today. There are a few things to keep in mind when it comes to using LinkedIn. Think of it as your personal sales page. It's one of the only professional social media platforms where you can sell yourself, look for new job opportunities, and network with others in your industry. If you are someone that is trying to get noticed by hiring managers and grow your personal brand, you need a strong LinkedIn profile. As we continue, what I'm going to walk you through assumes that you already have a LinkedIn account created, but I'm still going to cover some of the basics to help you build a solid foundation. The first of the basics is your profile picture or headshot. You always want to start with your headshot and your LinkedIn headline. When it comes to a good headshot, you want to make sure the picture you use has you smiling and dressed appropriately for your industry. You also want to make sure you are looking at the camera. You do not want to take a full body shot. My recommendation is to take a headshot from the waist or from the elbows up. Make sure that you are not wearing hats or sunglasses or anything that might be a little bit distracting. You will want to make sure that you're not using selfies or have anything distracting such as hats, sunglasses, or big jewelry. Here's what I want you to take away. LinkedIn profiles with professional headshots get 14 times more views than those without professional headshots. To continue with the basics is your headline. When it comes to a good LinkedIn headline, you want to make sure that it grabs the attention of anyone that might be viewing your profile. Think of your headline as your tagline. These are keywords and keyword phrases that others might be using on LinkedIn to find you. By default, LinkedIn uses the job title of your current or most recent position. My recommendation is to change that. You'll notice in the example, she is just using the title for her business. Now, she is not a job seeker, so her headline is going to be written a little bit differently than yours. If you are a job seeker, you want to make sure your headline is tailored to the position or to the industry that you want to go in. And of course, always making sure you use as many keywords and keyword phrases in there. You do have up to 120 characters to use inside of your headline. I'm not recommending that you use all 120. Just make sure your headline is as long as it needs to be. You also want to make sure you incorporate your specialty. Your specialty will help you get found in searches if others are looking for individuals that might do what you do. Here's an example. Let's say you're a senior project manager. One way that you could spice up your headline is by saying, Senior Project Manager specializing in implementation and relationship management. Now, after your headshot and your headline, step 2 to getting started in LinkedIn is the About section. This is where you have the opportunity to establish your brand. This is not the place to copy and paste your resume. There are 2 areas within the About section, Summary and Media. The first part of this section is the summary. When it comes to a good summary, you want to make sure that you have it organized. You want to intrigue the viewers to keep reading more. The About section is a great way to share your skills, talents, and expertise a little bit more in detail. It is also the perfect place to let your personality and character shine. The summary section needs to address who you are, who you help, and how you help them. You want to start with a sentence that mentions what you are most passionate about and what drives you most about your career. If you look at the example, you'll notice she says, career and business strategy is my passion. And then she goes on to say she is a driven business owner dedicated to teaching. After you mention what you're most passionate about and what drives you, you want to then include a paragraph that mentions your greatest accomplishments or even some of your greatest strengths. You will notice she goes on to say, my greatest strength is in helping others find solutions and strategies to launch others' perfect career. You can use this exact same format when writing your own summary. To make your summary section easier to read, you want to make sure you are using paragraphs no longer than 2 to 3 sentences, and you can use bullet points to break up the content and make it so the viewer can easily read your information. After your bullet point section, you can then go ahead and include an expertise section. You always want to make sure that you have some sort of specialty or expertise section. Now, this section isn't written in paragraphs. It is made up of just keywords and key phrases that will show up in a job posting that you can put into your profile, so you can be found in search results. Now, after the summary section, you also have the option to add media. You can add a link to external documents, photos, sites, videos, and even presentations. Of course, this will all be determined by which industry you're in. So moving on to the third step of getting started on LinkedIn is your experience section. Think of your experience section as a better way to tell your career story. The point of the experience section is to really show your audience who you are and how you got to where you are. Again, this is not a section to copy and paste your resume into. If you lack work experience, you will still want to tell about the experience you have had. Remember, you want to tell the reader how you got to where you are. You can do this by talking about any volunteer activities, special projects, clubs, and coursework related to the industry or position. You'll have an opportunity to list all of these again in other areas, so make sure that the information matches. LinkedIn is a little bit more informal than your resume, so this is the perfect opportunity to let your personality show. In fact, inside your LinkedIn profile, you can write in first person, which I always recommend you do. However, you'll remember that you do not want to write in first person in your resume. When it comes to the work experience section, use 2 to 3 sentences in a couple of paragraphs to explain some of the greatest accomplishments while you were in a position. Bonus tip here is to include at least one quantifiable accomplishment. These are things you can measure based on a number, a data point, a percentage, or maybe even a dollar amount, sometimes even time. To break up the content, you can add bullet points to your work experience section. Just make sure you're not copying and pasting directly from your resume. Another point when it comes to your experience section is to place keywords and keyword phrases showing up in job postings. And remember, You do not want to include too much information here. You just want to give the audience a teaser into some of the greatest things you have done, so they will reach out to you to learn more about you. After adding your experience, you will go on to build your education section. A great thing about your education section is it helps you build your career story. Your education section allows you to list the type of degree you received, the name of the institution you received it from, and it even allows you to list any awards or honors you received while you were at the institution. This is a great place to add any special training or certifications you have received that directly relate to your industry. An example of this would be if I went to a trade school or some type of short-term training program, something like a certified nursing assistant, a commercial driver, or massage therapist. If you really want your education section to shine, you want to add things like your clubs or organizations you participated in and any relevant coursework that applies to the position or industry you are applying in. If you have been out of high school for more than 5 years and you have an associate's degree or maybe even a bachelor's degree, you do not need to list your high school education here. After building up your education section, you will move on to the 5th step to help you get started on your LinkedIn by adding your skills and endorsements. Hiring managers use the skills section to find talent. So if there is a specific skill set you want to be recognized for, you need to make sure you add it to your profile. This is a great way to also show what your expertise are. LinkedIn will display the top 3 skills on your homepage, so make sure you get those listed first, and then add additional skills from there. LinkedIn does allow you to add up to 50 skills, but I do not recommend adding all 50 as it waters down your profile. I would start with the top 3 things you want to be known for or that you are an expert in, and then build on from that. Keep in mind, if you add a new skill, it will take time to accumulate endorsements for that skill. You only want to focus on the skills you want to be known for. You want to get as specific as you can when it comes to your skills. Rather than adding the term training, which doesn't really tell a lot, you could add something like corporate training. Now, these skills are what hiring officials, recruiters, and hiring managers are looking at when they view your profile, and over time, you may need to rearrange your top 3 skills based on what you want to promote about yourself and what you want to receive endorsements for. The 6th step to getting started on LinkedIn is recommendations. Recommendations are the perfect way to get recognized for what you do. A recommendation is a statement written by another LinkedIn member to recognize or commend you for the things you've done on the job. People who view your profile will often read the recommendations you receive from your connections, and they'll see what others have to say about your work. One thing you can do is ask for recommendations. If you click on the Ask for Recommendations icon, it walks you through how to ask for a recommendation. I recommend you get as many recommendations as you can from individuals in leadership positions, such as previous supervisors or managers. You might even have a colleague you work with that thinks highly of you. I would recommend getting a recommendation from those types of individuals as well. Don't be shy about asking for recommendations. A lot of people will freely give you one if you just ask for it. I've included a helpful link here showing how to ask for a recommendation, but it should generally flow like this. I really enjoyed working with you on such and such project and learning X and Y, or especially on X and Y. I have a small favor to ask of you. I'd like to keep my LinkedIn profile up to date to provide an accurate picture of my skills and experiences, and would love if you could write me a recommendation. If you'd like, I could write a recommendation for you as well. Would you mind writing a recommendation for me? Now that we have all your basic information set up, we will move on to the privacy and security settings. The Privacy tab covers all privacy and security settings related to what others can see about you and how your information can be used. Within the Privacy tab on security settings, you can manage how others see your profile and network information, how others see your LinkedIn activity, how LinkedIn uses your data. You can set your job seeking preferences, and you can set up blocking and hiding, or you can choose who can follow you, view your block list, and see who you have unfollowed. To get here, you're going to click on the Me icon at the top of your LinkedIn page, and then you're going to click on Settings and Privacy. You will notice the Edit Your Public Profile to click on from here. One thing I want you to be aware of on this page is how to edit your custom URL. You can go ahead and click on the pencil or the edit icon, and if LinkedIn has not yet given you a custom LinkedIn URL to copy and paste into your resume, this will look much sharper and organized than a string of letters and numbers. I recommend using your name or some variation of your name if it's already taken. You can even add a middle initial if you need to. The other area I want you to be aware of is the edit visibility. This allows you to control your profile's appearance for people who are not signed in to LinkedIn. It also goes on to say the limits you set here affect how your profile appears on search engines. This is the way to make sure you are showing certain sections you want to show and maybe not showing other sections you do not want to show. Again, you will want to go through this and make sure that you have your settings exactly how you want them. Now, one of the most important sections inside of your privacy settings is your job seeking preferences. Here it says, let recruiters know you're open to new opportunities. You will want to go change that to yes, so hiring managers and recruiters know you are looking for work. I've listed the instructions on how to do that here in the slide. If you'd like to at this time, you can press pause and work through this on your LinkedIn account, and then join back as soon as you have that section updated. Another tip here within the Privacy tab is to look at your Update Career Interest page. This allows you to type a note to a recruiter, and you can even go in and say what your status is. Are you actively applying for positions? Are you casually looking? Remember, recruiters have a special LinkedIn account where they will be able to see all of this information. This career interest section is important because you can tailor your profile to the position you are looking for. Now, I've included the instructions again on how to do this, so if you'd like to press pause to work through your LinkedIn account to get your career interest updated, and then rejoin whenever you have completed that portion. Now that you have your privacy settings and job search features set up the way you want them, we can start making connections. An important aspect of using LinkedIn to find a job is to understand the importance of your connections. LinkedIn provides you the opportunity to make powerful connections with people, in industry, and even the job title you're seeking, when you may not have had the opportunity to make those connections the old-fashioned way, face-to-face. The more connections you have, the better your chances are of finding the right career opportunity for you. You want to start by connecting with people you know personally, and then move on to people you haven't met in person, but you have something in common with, whether it be you attended the same school, worked in the same place, or working in the same field. You will want to make sure your message is customized to the people you are connecting with. You don't want to go in and just click on the connect button, because that just pops up a little message through to them that says so-and-so would like to connect with you on LinkedIn. And that really doesn't do anything for your relationship building with them. To make a customized message to that person, you will need to click on their profile, and from there you can click on that connect button. Then you will want to add a note and send the invitation. When you add a note, make sure you are relaying to them how you know them and why you want to connect. Type something like, "Hi Holly, I noticed like me, you are also a software engineer. It is great to see we have a few shared connections. Would you mind if we connected on LinkedIn?" Now remember, LinkedIn is a business networking platform and not a dating site. So refrain from those types of messages and keep it professional. The audience within LinkedIn is very self-policing, and these types of communications may get you shut down quickly and publicly. I recommend you connect with at least 10 to 20 people a day, and this will help you grow your network to a sizable amount. Now within LinkedIn, you will want to use the jobs feature. There are a couple of ways you can use this. You will see at the very top of the screen it says jobs you may be interested in. This is based on your profile you have already built. Remember, you want your profile to be as tailored to the position you want as possible. If you see any positions you want to apply for, go ahead and click on the position to find out more. From here, LinkedIn will recommend to you companies that you may be interested in. So you will have jobs that are presented to you, and then you'll have companies that are presented to you. Now the other way is to search a position title from the search feature in the jobs area. You can go through and save positions, and LinkedIn will save jobs to a database of your favorite positions that you have not yet applied for, or you can just select apply to apply directly from LinkedIn. Before you apply for the position, remember to review the job description. You will want to read through the job summary, the responsibilities, the requirements, and the skills. Make sure that you have these skills and that these skills are listed in your LinkedIn profile, because that is what hiring managers and recruiters are looking for. Once you have decided that this position is a good fit, go ahead and click on the apply button. Most of the positions will take you to an external website where you can apply using the company's instructions. If you can apply directly with LinkedIn's Easy Apply feature, it auto-populates the application with your information. You can upload your resume and it saves a lot of time. When using Easy Apply to apply for a position, LinkedIn will provide you with related positions so that you can scroll through those to see if any are a good fit as well. When it comes to applying for a job, LinkedIn will show the job poster for some of the positions, which probably the most important part of applying, the follow-up. So one of the best things that you can do for your job search is to keep track of the positions you apply for and then follow up with a hiring manager or the recruiter to let them know of your interest. Again, some positions will have the person listed and some will not. So sometimes you'll have to do a little bit of digging. This is where the people search on the search bar will really come into handy. What you will want to do here is type something like hiring manager, and then you can type the name of the company. Make sure again you have just people selected. If hiring manager doesn't work, use other phrases like talent acquisition or recruiter. Once you find the hiring manager, you'll want to connect with them via a customized connection request to let them know what position you applied for, how interested you are in the position, and ask them for some type of follow-up question or action item. In addition to following up with the hiring manager, the other thing you want to do is to follow the company. Type the company name into the LinkedIn search bar, follow them, and you will be able to see the other positions that they may be hiring for. Bonus tip: you can really beef up your online presence with that company or companies on LinkedIn. Look at the posts the company makes and like those. You could also comment or even share their posts with your audience. This puts you on the radar of the company and lets the company and those hiring for the company know that you are extremely interested in working with them. Now, I've given you a lot of information on LinkedIn and it may seem overwhelming. I assure you, once you have gone through the initial setup, it is easy to maintain as the other platforms we are going to look at now. You'll remember that LinkedIn is the primary platform that hiring managers and recruiters are looking for. We're going to move on to Facebook. Now, privacy is an issue on Facebook in general, but is even more of an issue when you are job searching. If you are not careful, everything you post on Facebook can be seen by your current employer or a prospective employer. Inopportune comments and inappropriate photos have cost job seekers offers and have caused employees to be fired. Given the fact that just about everyone does use Facebook, it's smart to take the time to make sure that what you post is seen only by who you want to see it and not the entire world. If you are job searching or concerned about your boss or coworker seeing your post, check your privacy settings carefully, both the general settings and the settings for each of your posts. Before you click to post, make sure it is viewable by only the people you want to see it. Look at your post through a lens of appropriateness. It may seem daunting and you may not like tagging yourself in some of those photos, but you will want to err on the side of caution and clean your account up. Continuing with Facebook privacy settings, within your privacy settings, you will want to make sure only your friends can see your photos. You want to make sure only friends can see your religious or political views. You want to make sure only friends can see your posts. And with the privacy settings, you are given an opportunity to preview your profile, a feature that lets you see what the outside world sees when they access your Facebook page. I suggest deleting all inappropriate Facebook apps as well. Moving on to our third platform, Twitter. And through Twitter, you can learn from your peers in whatever discipline you are in, or use it as a platform to share content so you can build awareness of you as a professional and ultimately position yourself as a thought leader in a particular expertise. Because it is an open network, it affords the opportunity to do that in a very public way. Twitter's openness makes it a useful platform for showcasing your talents, personality style, and interest. Recruiters can get an idea of who you are and if you would be a good fit at their company. It's not just transparency of candidates, but companies as well. It's great for connecting meaningfully with people and companies you do not already know, which is much more difficult to do on platforms such as Facebook or LinkedIn. You can develop a rapport with people you may not have access to in real life. It's easier and more convenient for a recruiter to reply to your tweet than to pick up the phone. Twitter facilitates those quicker responses. So Twitter is not the first social network someone typically thinks about when applying for a job, but it does have some unique advantages over the other social media platforms. The lack of barriers to connect with thought leaders is one of the advantages have over the other platforms. You can follow the industry you're interested in and participate in communities you care about. You can create meaningful content that people care about. Be a thought leader. Don't just retweet what others are saying. You can use Twitter as a jumping off point to more detailed online profiles, such as a personal blog, LinkedIn profile. Many companies have job-related Twitter handles. Following those is a great way to keep tabs on the job openings rather than searching the company's website. Build your network before you need it. You can engage with people who do what you want to do. You can showcase your personality and talk to people about your interest. You do not have to be too professional. Now that we've covered the do's of Twitter, let's move on to some of the don'ts. So in Twitter, you do not want to retweet a compliment. If you do, do it rarely. They say it's the same thing as bragging. It is. Do not promote something more than a few times. Don't tweet endlessly about that new blog post you just wrote. It gets boring for your followers. I say the 80-20 rule works here. Only self-promote yourself 20% of the time and you'll get great results. Go easy on the hashtags. Hashtags can be fun if you don't overuse them. Don't follow thousands of people in hopes they'll follow you back. If they see you follow 1,000 people but only have 2 posts, they'll think you're a spam account. Don't use Twitter for your extended two-way conversations. If you need to talk to have a long two-way conversation with someone, get it on email or text or via phone. It's minorly weird to talk forever with just one person as everyone else watches. Don't tweet twice in a row to squeeze in more than 140 characters. Lastly, don't tweet too many quotes. You may have heard that tweets with quotes get retweeted like crazy. They do, but not if you do them all the time. Vary up your tweets. Moving on to our fourth platform, Instagram. Not only is Instagram a good way to establish your personal brand, but it also demonstrates a marketable skill, social media, and enhances your overall digital savvy. It might even help you connect with future employers and differentiate yourself from the competition during the job interview process. Now, I'd consider creating a new account. If your account is full of selfies or photos from a wild weekend, then you should consider creating a new account for a fresh social media start if you want to use Instagram for job searching. You can use Instagram to establish your personal brand. Identify how you want to market yourself and brainstorm how you might be able to use Instagram to help you job search. Obviously, this will be easier for some fields than others. For example, posting industry pictures or pictures from the field in Instagram is an extremely effective form of advertising services and reaching out to others. For a financial analyst, however, Instagram won't be too helpful. Be appropriate, workplace appropriate, professional and private. Whether you're using Instagram or any other mobile app as a pillar of your job search, or simply maintaining a personal account, it's important to be mindful of what you post. Use hashtags. You can use hashtags so that your photos show up in searches. Use Instagram to search popular tags in your own field. However, posting a photo with too many hashtags is an Instagram faux pas, so limit your use of them so as not to become annoying to others. Follow companies and influencers. Stay updated with your dream employers and industry heroes by following them on Instagram. You'll get an inside track on emergency trends in your field, as well as up-to-the-minute information on what prospective employers are doing. You can engage with them by commenting on their photos. With all the do's, there will certainly come don'ts. Don't overpost. Take your time to create a long-term strategy and establish a steady, consistent post rate. This will gain you more attention, engagement, and followers, even if at first it might seem counterintuitive. Don't post photos that you're not completely satisfied with. Instagram is, first and foremost, a visual platform. Thus, the biggest heresy you can commit is to post photos that are unappealing to use. Sure, these photos might send the correct message, but if they are blurry or shaky or wishy-washy, they will only score negative reactions. Don't be too promotional. Remember that 80-20% rule. Yes, the whole purpose of your Instagram account is to promote yourself or your business. However, if you're pushing too hard and are constantly too salesy or too look at me, followers are going to unfollow. There is a time and a place for everything, and there's a fine mastery in selling yourself without appearing too pushy. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you can get away with solely posting. You should also make efforts to engage with your followers' accounts and nurture relationships with them. If they comment, send them a reply. And don't forget about your privacy settings. Now, we have covered a lot of information today, And I hope that you will reach out to me with any questions you have. We discussed the different social media platforms. We've gone over how each of them can be used for the job search. We've covered privacy settings and what could be considered as questionable content. It all may seem overwhelming. However, these are all things that you will likely have to do to land that dream job or company. Remember, once you have your profiles built, it's as easy as maintaining your normal social media accounts. Don't be afraid to ask someone you respect to do a Google search for your name or to look over your profiles. They will notice things that you may not. Again, thank you for joining us today. Remember to check out webinars 1 and 2, polishing your resume and tailoring your cover letter, in the student section of our webpage at southcentralworkforce.com, along with other helpful resources to prepare you for your job search. Also remember to sign up for your Kentucky Career Edge account at careeredgeky.com and check out the ePortfolio tool to bring your resume, cover letter, and social media profiles together to start marketing yourself to employers today. If you have any questions about today's webinar, leveraging social media, or need help with your job search and getting connected to employers in the region, reach out to me at Matt, M-A-T-T, at southcentralworkforce.com, or you can call me at 270-331-0044. Thank you for attending.